You are now listening to AB on the Unpopular Opinion Podcast.
Yes, sir. Man. Yo, episode 5, Unpopular Opinion. We back again and again and again, and we just gonna keep rolling, man. I'm hyped for this show, man. I'm hyped for this one, y'all. Hey, I'm so hyped for this, man. Durant, what's good? Bull City. G-Bro, what's up? Raleigh, what's good? Winston-Salem, what's good? Man, I'm just so hyped for this, man. Chapel Hill, what's good? Yo, like, for real, man, I'm so happy for, I'm proud of myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of myself for stepping out and doing this. I'm just, like, so appreciative of all my supporters, and I say that every single time, but I really do appreciate it. And I ain't gonna hold this too long, man, but I just wanted to get that quick shout out. Like, I appreciate everybody supporting me. I am in the Bull City, so anytime, like, if y'all hearing this and you in the Bull City or near the area, holla at your boy, man. Like, we can get a show together. Like, I'm all about collaborating. I'm all about having people on my show. So, you know, y'all more than welcome to, you know, come get this debate talk. So, without further ado, man, we're gonna get into an unpopular opinion, episode 5. Let's go. Right now, man, we're just gonna get into the first topic of the day, which is I want to talk about the Warriors. Draymond Green, man, Draymond. So first, we're gonna talk about what actually happened. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch the game. I just went through the highlights. Man, my schedule's been like crazy busy, but I didn't watch the game. But I saw that. At the end of the game, basically what happened was, KD was going off like in the fourth quarter, and Draymond got the rebound coming down the court with like 5 seconds left. I guess, Golden State didn't have any timeouts, or they just decided not to call any timeouts, because usually in that situation, you want to attack the defense before they could get set. So Draymond gets the rebound. KD is right there. Like, he can just hand him the ball, passing the ball real quick. KD can do his thing like he did in the finals the last year, and like he did in the finals the year before that. But Draymond says, hey, man, I'm going to just go ahead and take this myself. He goes down court, tries to dribble in between 3 people, loses the ball, and the clock runs out. So, of course, KD is pissed. He's pissed. So they get into this confrontation on the bench, and that carried over into the locker room. So they went into overtime. Golden State lost the game. And apparently what happened was Draymond was continuously, or just, calling KD the B word. A word you should never call a man. That's what he did. He threw that word out at KD, his own teammate. And Golden State said that it was a detriment to the team, which I agree. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But I think that if you got to know Golden State thrives off of knowing their role, right? Like, Draymond knows his role. He knows he's not a finisher at the end of the game. He knows he's not the guy to take the last shot. So why try to, he didn't even get a shot attempt off. Like, you just tried to dribble in between 3 people when you got the second best player in the world, second or third, however you want to argue it. I personally think that, I'll say this. KD is a better player than Steph, but Steph is more important to that team than KD is. I'll put it that way. But anyway, the second best player in the world, you don't give him the ball in that situation? Like, what are you trying to prove? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you not getting enough attention on the team? Or is Steph and KD overshadowing you? What's going on? Like, he set a goal for himself to have Defensive Player of the Year this year, which I think is a great goal. Like, find your role. Find what you do. Like, I'm sure Clay wants to be, all NBA second team or all NBA first team this year. And, a high 3-point percentage, probably first team or second team all defense. Those are the type of goals that Clay and Draymond need to set. Steph is, in the running for MVP. KD is in the running for MVP. those are the superstars on the team, so they need to do that. And Draymond, you need to know your role. Like, I don't know what he was thinking in that situation. And actually, DeMarcus Cousins was the one trying to calm him down, which was, I'm sure, pretty funny to a lot of people because, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Is that the saying? Whatever it is, yeah. So that was just interesting to me. So Draymond got suspended for one game, which they played the Atlanta Hawks tonight, which they probably will win. They probably won't need Draymond for that game. But you could just see like that the game they played last night shouldn't even been close. Like it just shows like how important Steph Curry is to that team. And I saw some stat on ESPN that they were lacking on getting drives into the paint, which Golden State, a lot of teams thrive off of that. You get the drive in the paint, you make the defense close in, and you got some of the best 3-point shooters in the world in Clay and Steph and KD. So, that's how they win a lot of their games. But yeah, so Draymond's out for this game. They probably won't need him. He's suspended. I think he lost $120,000 for this game. He was suspended without pay. So we'll see how that goes, man. Like, will that affect, Oh, also, quick point. Draymond challenged KD's impending free agency in response to his teammates challenging him about his turnover. So basically, he was saying like, "Oh, KD, so what you gonna do next year? Like, are you gonna leave us?" I'm sure that was the type of thing that went on, in response to his teammates challenging Draymond on his turnover, which that should tell Draymond that, oh, I'm not the, KD's not the only one that has a problem with this. The whole team is having a problem, but, Draymond has the hot head, man. So, hopefully he'll understand that he was in the wrong in that situation, which I think he was, and, a lot of people think he was. So we'll see what Golden State does, man, how that'll affect them in the offseason. Is it a big deal or is it not a big deal? We'll see. Next topic, man. Jimmy Butler in a big trade was traded from, he finally got his mission accomplished. I know he didn't want to be in Minnesota anymore. So, he made that very clear this year. And it's funny to play. If you saw, he was playing defense with his hands in his pocket. I think that was against the Lakers, actually. He was like 2 or 3 straight possessions with his hand in his pocket, like basically waving, like, "Oh, owner, like, trade me. It's time, trade me." So he did get traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, which I thought was a huge trade for Philly. Like, I think that catapults them into top 3 in the East, or definitely top 4 in the East. I mean, a lot of people would say they were already there, but I think that was just pending on how Ben Simmons develops. Because, as we, like, Markelle Fultz, man, as we're talking about Philly, did y'all see that play where he was attempting a free throw the other night and he kind of pump faked the free throw? Like, we've seen, like, odd free throw methods before, but that was just crazy, man. Like, what Philly has done to this young man is just like pretty crazy, man. It's disappointing. This is the number 1 overall draft pick, and he seems to have lacked all confidence. Like, he has no confidence. It's just crazy to me, like, because he was a really good player in college. It's like he forgot how to shoot. Some shots have been like off the backboard, has hit no rim. Some have been air balls completely. And it's not like the kid doesn't know how to score. He knows how to score. He did it in college. So, what's the deal? I think they tried to make him like a Klay Thompson type of stroke where it's like really quick release. But I think they should have just left it alone, man. Just let that kid play ball and, let him be who he is. He was not like a supreme spot up 3-point shooter in college, and I think that's what they wanted him to be, because Ben Simmons would be, handling the ball a lot as a, power point guard, and they wanted folks to be like a dynamic scorer with a quick release. We seeing that's backfiring, and it's messing up this kid's career, man. Like, a lot of people aren't going to want to take a chance on him if they try to trade him, or if they just decide not to re-sign him after his years is up. But I know they're trying to be patient with him for now, and they'll see how it goes. But so, Jimmy Butler will be huge for Philly. So basically, Minnesota traded Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton, who I guess was a bench producer, for Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, and a 2022 second round pick. That 2022 second round pick was probably just a throwaway. I don't know how much value that pick will be. Dario Saric and Robert Covington, of course, are the big names in this trade. Dario Saric, I think, will be a really good player. I think he'll be, um, I think this year and next year is pretty like important to his growth and who he will be as an NBA player career-wise. Maybe he can be an all-star, but I don't see him being much more than that. A few times making the all-star team. I think that's about his max potential. Robert Covington is who he is, I think, at this point. A really good defensive player, 3-and-D wing player. So as long as he can stay consistent hitting the three, I mean, that's a value piece in the NBA today. I think he's about 6'8", 6'9", so he's got a lot of length. If he could, improve on his rebounding, keep that defense and scoring up with the three-point shot, I think that'll be big for Minnesota. Wiggins just needs to improve. I think they're waiting on Wiggins to be that guy. And, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns has to be, the superstar on the team. So we'll see how Minnesota does with that trade. Clearly, they wanted to get something for Jimmy Butler, and mission accomplished. Le'Veon Bell. So I think I spoke on Le'Veon Bell on about episode 2, episode 3, saying that Le'Veon Bell will be back. He would come back. Well, when you're in this business, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you get it wrong. Le'Veon Bell's not showing up. He didn't show up today. Today was the deadline, and he had to show up today to, basically, be on the team for the rest of the season. So he didn't show up. He won't play this season. He's out of Pittsburgh almost for sure now. I mean, I don't see a way that Pittsburgh brings him back. James Conner is beasting. He's balling for Pittsburgh. I think that offensive line had a lot to prove and was motivated by Le'Veon Bell's move. And now you see that Pittsburgh is on a winning streak. I mean, they're doing good right now. They're really impressive. They had a really impressive victory against the Panthers this week, 52-21. I mean, they put a smackdown on them. So, we'll see. But Pittsburgh does this. They have games where they, beat the brakes off of people. But their main thing, man, is they have to beat the Patriots. They have to beat Debo. Like, that's their Debo. They can't get past Pittsburgh. The Patriots in the playoffs. Like, can't get past Brady. So, until they get past Brady, man, the Steelers will just be a Super Bowl contender. They will just be, an AFC championship, goer, but not actually a Super Bowl goer. So they have to show that they can beat the Patriots, man, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, we know that the big contenders in the AFC right now are the Chiefs. I mean, you could throw the Chargers in there. I think I have some belief in the Chargers. They just haven't played like big key opponents yet. But I think that's about to change soon. They're about to get some big opponents. So you got the Patriots, really. Pittsburgh at 6-2. Cincinnati I don't think they'll be playoff contenders because they're Cincinnati. They're pretty good in the regular season, and then they fall off when it's time to really perform. Houston at 6-3, which they're looking really good. We'll see, how they do. Kansas City, of course, like I said, is up there with the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Chargers at 7-2. And then out in the NFC, you got you got the Saints. I think the Panthers, man. I think the Panthers, even though they lost to Pittsburgh and no shade, but they look really good. They're 5-0 at home. They're 1-3 away. They're winning the close games. They're winning the games that they should win. So, as long as they keep that up, man, the Panthers can be, a contender. They can. They just gotta get on the streak at the right time at the end of the season, and we'll see how they do. The Rams, of course, are up there at 9-1. The Rams and the Saints, man. I will make my prediction. I think I don't know, but I think the Saints. I'll say it now. The Saints, I think, will be in the Super Bowl. I got the Saints and the Patriots in the Super Bowl for this year. I think they will beat the Rams in the NFC Championship like they did this previous week, and you know, that's it, man. I got the Saints in the Super Bowl. Saints versus the Patriots. I got the Rams in there, competitive, of course. The Panthers in there competitive. The Bears are looking really good right now. And man, my Eagles, man, I don't know. We lost to the Cowboys. How we lose to the Cowboys? I'm just sick, man. That makes me sick just to think about losing to the Cowboys. Like, I'm okay with losing to the Redskins. I'm okay with losing to the Giants, but losing to the Cowboys it's just unacceptable. It just can't happen. Like, now it just makes me sick, man. I'm just so disappointed with the Eagles this year. We have a lot of injuries, but that's no excuse, man. I mean, our secondary is decimated completely. We lost our starting safety and 3 of our starting corners, and Darby is out for the season with a torn ACL or MCL. I don't know, but he's not coming back this year. It's just so disappointing, man. It's been a bad season, a Super Bowl hangover, if you will. So it's just been rough. But so the Redskins, they looking okay, but I don't see them making it past the wild card or the divisional round. We'll see what happens with them. So just a quick rundown of all the scores. Of course, I just covered the Dallas against the Philly game. The Eagles lost. We lost 27-20. Key injuries in that game was Darby is gone for the season. Zach Martin is a freaking warrior. I mean, he came and got hurt in the game, which looked like a pretty serious injury. I actually thought he was going to be gone for some extended time. I think he had an MCL sprain, and he came back in that same game and finished out the game and was killing it. Played really well. So, Cowboys won that game. Like I said, Pittsburgh against Carolina. Pittsburgh won 52-21. Bears won their game against the Lions 34-22. Saints win against the Bengals in a thrashing 51-14. Teron Armstead, who has been playing really well for the Saints this year, got injured. I don't know how long he will be out or if he will be out for extended time, but he got injured in that game. The Browns won against the Falcons. Good win for the Browns, man. I'm proud of them. I'm just happy to see the Browns win, man. Who aren't happy? The Falcons, of course, you're not happy to see the Browns win, but I'm happy to see the Browns win some games. Like, they've been bad for a long time, so it's good to see them win. 28-16. Titans beat the Patriots. Thank you, Titans. I appreciate that. I don't like the Patriots. Like, if you like the Patriots, good for you. But no, I don't like the Patriots. We got them in the Super Bowl, so I'm just so happy about that. Titans win against the Patriots 34-10. Colts win against the Jags 29-26. Brandon Linder did get hurt in that game, the center for the Jags. A key component to that team. And the Jags are just, I don't know, where are they at right now? 3-6. Man, their season is done. They're done for the season. Sorry, Duval County. Did I pronounce that right? Sorry, Jaguars. Y'all going for the season. Lost 5 in a row. They've lost 5 in a row. Yeah, it's over for the Jags. Chiefs win against the Cardinals 26-14. Patrick Mahomes is still looking like an MVP candidate. I think it's between him and Drew Brees. And I got Drew Brees winning his first MVP this year, too. I think this is the Saints' year, man. It's a big year for the Saints. Bills completely demolished the Jets, man. The Jets need to lick the Bills' boots. Like, how do you lose 41-10? Like, to the Bills. Like, they had Matt Barkley looking like Peyton Manning out there. Like, come on, man. So the Bills lose against the Jets 41-10. Redskins win against the Bucks 16-3. Chargers win against the Raiders 20-6. Packers win against the Dolphins 31-12. The Rams, and this game was good. I actually did watch this game. Rams versus the Seahawks, 36-31. Rams had a chance to come back Seahawks had a chance to come back in that game, and just fell a little short. Cooper Kupp is going for the season for the Rams, which is a big blow for them. I think that's really going to affect them playoff time, because Cooper Kupp is kind of like an upgraded version of Cole Beasley for the Cowboys. Like, really good slot guy, really good route runner, good hands, decent speed. He gets those first downs for you, and he just always seems to be open, like especially in zone coverage. So Cooper Kupp going for the season, that's going to hurt. The Giants then win against the 49ers 27-23. I think Odell scored in that game. Shepard scored in that game on a big last couple second score. Eli Manning came through with the game-winning drive. He preserves his starting role for now. I think that they're going to keep him in, even though I think they should just go ahead and see what they got in the backup. The Giants season is pretty much done too at this point. I don't see them winning, their next 7 in a row. But, Giants fans will tell you that they will win the next 7. Big games for Week 11. So in the NFL, the big games to me in my mind are the Redskins against the Texans. Both of those teams are 6-3. The Rams versus the Chiefs. Of course, that's the big highlight game of the week. Both of those teams are 9-1, and will be very telling for both of them come playoff time, if they get home field throughout the playoffs. The Bears versus the Vikings, which is a big divisional game. The Bears is 6-3, Vikings at 5-3-1. So if the Vikings can win that game, they can take the division lead. The Seahawks versus the Packers. I think the Packers still got hope. As long as they got Aaron Rodgers, they got hope. Against the Seahawks, that's going to be a really intriguing game. And the Eagles versus the Saints. If the Eagles can somehow pull this off, this is in the Superdome in New Orleans. I just don't see my Eagles having a chance, man. That high-octane offense by the Saints, and their defense is coming along as well. With our secondary, the way it's looking, our secondary was never like the strong point of our defense anyway, but the fact that we have 3 of our starting corners going, we got safeties trying to play corner at this point. I just don't. Michael Thomas, a field day. If you got Michael Thomas in your fantasy team, start him immediately. Like, no second guessing. Start him. Start, who else? Their tight end. Start him too. Alvin Kamara is a start every week. But, yeah, those receivers will probably have a field day against our team. Who else do we have? So, NBA standings, that's next. NBA standings, I'm just going to go through this really quick. So, we got Toronto leading the East. And, you saw my prediction. If you listen to the podcast over the last couple of episodes, you know who I got going to the finals out of the East. So, the Toronto Raptors are at 12-2. The Bucks at 10-3. Bucks looking really good this year. I'm really impressed by what I can't think of his name. Budenholzer? I think that's his name. Anyway, something with a B. Somehow you know how to pronounce his name. The Atlanta Hawks old coach, he has them rolling right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo, did I say that right? He is balling, looking like an MVP candidate this year. Chris Middleton, I've always been impressed by his game. He is also playing very well for the Bucks. Bucks will be a tough out in the playoffs come playoff time. They got a legitimate shot to come out of the East. The 76ers, of course, at 9-6, they're third. They got Jimmy Butler. I'm sure that'll improve their stock. They'll be looking better. They're 7-0 at home, looking really good. Indiana, if you know me, Victor Oladipo is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I love watching him play. He got them at 8-6 right now. Boston at 7-6 was, really surprising. I think for a lot of NBA fanatics out there, we thought Boston would look a little better at this point. They're defense is kind of not there. I mean, they are one of the best defensive teams out of the East as far as offensive points per game. But they're just losing a lot of close games. They've lost their last two. Charlotte is at the 6th seed, 7-7, and yeah, I think that's how the standings are right now. I think that's pretty much how they're going to play out for the rest of the year. You got Charlotte, Detroit, and Brooklyn rounding out the rest of the East. Orlando is at 6-8 at the bubble, and Miami Heat. I think those are the 10 teams that are pretty much going to be contending for playoff spots. You got Golden State rounding up at the top of the West. Portland is actually at 10-3 this year, looking really good. Watch out for Portland, man. They're looking good, like really good this year. They're on a 4-game win streak. Denver, a lot of people had them at the top of the West this year, and rightfully so. They're looking good at 9-4. Clippers actually in the 4th seed right now, so kudos to the LA Clippers. OKC at the 5th seed, San Antonio at the 6th seed, Memphis at the 17th. Sacramento is actually in the 8th seed right now. It's 8-6. Very impressive job for Sacramento. Lakers are at 7-6. Utah at 7-6. New Orleans at 7-6. Houston at 5-7. Speaking of Houston, and a lot of people looked at Houston to be like a top 3 seed, even at this point. But it's looking like the Melo project isn't working. Melo is set to be released by the Rockets. That was reported yesterday. Philly isn't really interested in Melo right now. Melo is shooting 31% from 3 right now, and I don't know. I always saw like Melo. I mean, Melo has such a pretty jump shot. You just would expect him to be like better at the 3-point line, but the league average is I think 36-37% right now from 3, so he's a little below that. And I think Philly, if Melo is shooting better from 3 at this point, I think they would take a look at Melo, even with his defensive lack of defensive intensity. They would still look at him, but with him not being an efficient scorer and not playing defense, at the wing, or not being like a really good rebounder, I just don't see them taking a look at him. Max said the best place, Max from First Take, ESPN First Take, he actually thinks that Melo's best fit would be to play in China, which, I think when a lot of people heard that, they were kind of like gasping, because it's just like, man, like that's really a shot at Melo. I think Melo can find a spot in the NBA, man. Me saying that Melo finding a spot in the NBA seems very disrespectful, and I get it. But Melo just has to humble himself and just like submit to a role. Like, he has to commit to a role and play hard. Like, defense is about effort, right? So Melo has to be a guy that commits to defense and commits to coming off the bench and like being a star off the bench. Like, that's where he is at this point in his career, and that's what he has to be. Like, he can't be about ego at this point. He just can't. And if he wants to play on a team that is trying to win a ring, then he definitely has to play that role. If you want to play for Phoenix, if you want to play for Dallas, if you want to play for I don't know, Atlanta, if you want to play for the Hawks, which Atlanta actually let him go, they bought him out. If you want to play for Chicago or something like that, sure, like, you can jack up as many shots as you want and you can not be a team guy. But if you want to play for a team like Philly or Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Golden State, a team like that, then he has to submit to a role and commit to being a star in his role. And that's just the sad truth for Melo right now. A real quick shout out. I didn't cover this, but I'm really impressed by Derrick Rose this year. His 50-point game was super inspiring for a lot of people. Just the adversity that he's went through all his injuries. Just really cool to see Derrick Rose have that moment, man. And I want him to have more moments. It's good for a healthy Rose to be in the NBA. It's good for a healthy Rose to just continue on with his career. I'm just proud of that man. Real quick, just going through extended news apart from my typical sports news, my nerd self can't let this go without being covered. Dragon Ball Super, uh, Broly, the movie, is set to release on January 2019. They actually had a report that Goku is actually going to be in the Macy Parade for the Thanksgiving parade on November 22nd. So if you haven't checked out that, if you are into anime, if you are into Dragon Ball, if you haven't checked out that trailer, the third trailer for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, go check that out. Really impressive. I'm really impressed by Akira Toriyama's just his production, his artwork for this movie. It just looks really good, really clean. I'm just really impressed by his work on that. Toy Story 4 set to release. I'm hyped for Toy Story. Like, you know, I don't know. If you want to judge me, judge me. Toy Story 4 is set to release on June 2019. I'm super excited about that. Detective Pikachu set to release on May 2019. I don't care how old I am. I'm never not going to watch a Pokemon movie that I deem as a good movie, or it looks to be a good movie. I'm never going to stop. I'll be 40 years old with my kids watching Pikachu movies or Pokemon movies, Dragon Ball movies. I'm going to do it. It's just never going to stop. I'm never going to get tired of it. So it is what it is. Tragic news, man, for the Marvel Universe. I just got to cover this real quick. Stan Lee did pass away the other day. I think that was yesterday, actually. He will appear in Avengers 2, I think that will be like his last movie appearance, because I think they just finished Avengers 2, so he will be in that movie. So many people were touched by Stan Lee. I personally was touched by Stan Lee. Just Marvel, in general, man. Spider-Man, X-Men, the entire Marvel universe. I'm super into like the Marvel Netflix series, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Punisher. Those are really good series, well, excluding Iron Fist, which wasn't that good. But just really sad by the news of Stan Lee passing. So rest in peace to Stan Lee. Anyway, man, I just want to thank everybody for listening, tuning in. I really appreciate y'all listening. I can't say that enough. We're just going to keep going with the Unpopular Opinion podcast. I'm just so excited for what's to come, what's here right now. And like I said, comment, like, share. Just really support the podcast, man. If you enjoy what you're listening, make sure that other people get a chance to enjoy what they're getting from the content of this podcast. So my name is AB, and I hope y'all have a great day, and I'm out.